Earlier this year, a game was released that sent shockwaves through the gaming community. Arguably, in the short time since then, it's been considered to be one of the greatest games of all time. That game is, of course, Dolmen. No, of course not. We're talking about Elden Ring. Is Thymesia a love letter to the Souls genre? Or is it another case of game developers trying to capitalize on one of the hardest fan bases to pin down in the industry? Let's find out. OverBorder Studios and publisher Team 17's Thymesia is a grueling action RPG with fast-paced combat and a robust plague weapon system. You play as Corvus, the feathered silent protagonist tasked with saving the once thriving Kingdom of Hermes. I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely skeptical going into Thymesia, and for good reason. The term Souls-like has left a bad taste in the mouth for fans of the genre for years now. Nonetheless, the excitement at the prospect of another game that offers that trademark difficulty and genre-defining elements leaves most Souls fans frothing at the mouth. And for the most part, I'm glad to say that Thymesia actually delivers. Thymesia starts off with a short, forgetful cinematic where it explains your purpose and then drops you off into a short tutorial area where you get manhandled at the end in a typical Souls fashion. Thymesia is broken into 5 main areas, and to be honest, I couldn't really tell any of them apart. Boring and uninspired is how I would describe them. Part of the allure that I feel like the majority of indie developers miss out on when they tackle these style games, and this is across the board, is level design. And understandably so. From Software's level design is nothing short of genius. But it almost feels like OverBorder Studios didn't even try to make something interesting to look at. Sure, there's some slight variation if you look hard enough, from the beginning circus area to the library filled with blood and its stacked books. But it all has the same color filter on everything, and none of it ever really connects in any meaningful way. And that goes double for its story, which I quickly stopped paying attention to after the first couple papers I found on the ground, because to be honest, that shit was a snooze fest. It just never made me care. But let's be real, we're all here for the gameplay, and Thymesia absolutely shines in this arena. Before we get into that though, can we talk about how fucking terrible that name Thymesia is? It was like somebody came in and was like, "Hey boss, the game looks great, but you haven't came up with a name for it yet, and we're kind of running out of time." Time? Thymesia! A beautiful mix of Bloodborne and Sekiro, the fighting is intense and fast-paced, favoring an aggressive, in-your-face playstyle over block-and-wait tactics. All enemies basically have 2 health bars that require you to use both light and heavy attacks to prevent them from regenerating. Couple that with the ability to reave plague weapons, which basically allows you to steal unique weapons from enemies you encounter, adds an extra layer that I can't recall seeing done before. Not to mention a skill tree that actually impacts gameplay. All of this to say, Thymesia does gameplay right, and we love to see it. Thymesia has 8 different bosses, and while none of them except maybe the final one are Soulsborne level difficult, they're freaking good, man. And they do an excellent job of making you feel like a badass after you learn the boss's moveset. And you cannot tell me that this OST doesn't freaking slap. With all of that being said, while I do recommend the game, it is in no way perfect, and in a lot of ways it's half-baked. And for that, it's getting a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching.